Hi guys, my name is Annabelle from Horizon Cosplay and welcome to our 12 Days of Cosplay Christmas. Today we're going to start off making the Tinkerbell Christmas cosplay based on this model named Oh Christmas Tree from the Disney Traditions collection, I think. Anyway, as with all the things that I'm making at the moment, we are doing it out of recycled material, and so for this make we are going to be using 2 bed sheets that are minty green in colour, and these 2 ballroom dresses, which are not minty green but a kind of holly green. The total price that the materials for this cosplay has cost me is about £10, so let's get going. Okay, so the first dress we have is this little number. It actually fits really well, not that I could lace it up properly by myself, but the other good thing about it is that it has several layers of this nice green stuff, which means that as the outside I have lots of skirt to make holly leaves with. I am not too sure what I'm going to do about the bodice for the moment. This one has some mini boning channels just going up over my boobs, just the 2, and they literally end like right underneath, so they kind of act like a bra, but honestly not very well. I might use this as the top, I might not. I think that undoing the beading is probably something we're going to do. The other thing I'm going to do is just unpick all these little folds and down the seam lines, so I just have some flat pieces of fabric that I can work with this dress, and then we'll look at getting the holly pattern sorted out for the skirt and obviously for the top as well, and we'll look at cutting all of those out from this fabric. The reason I've gone with 2 slightly different coloured green dresses is because I really wanted the holly leaves to not all be the same colour. The other thing I like about this is because it's a lace up, I think if nothing else I will probably keep the lace up back that's on here, simply because, like I said, it does fit relatively well and saves me making my own, and then I can use the matching string for the lace up as well. On to the next dress. Okay, on to the next dress. This one right here is a slightly lighter green. It's also way too big for me, like way too big for me. Like, if I put my arms down here, there's more than enough room. No, oh, tiny bit of boning again, just in the boob area. I think this was made for someone with a much larger bust than me. To be honest, someone who's much bigger than me in general. This one has only the 1 layer of really nice fabric, but it does have this lighter layer of kind of a skirt lining that isn't actually attached to the outside skirt, which again is quite nice. We might find a use for that. Again, I think what I'm going to do is unpick all these folds. The sash is actually a separate piece. I can get my hand all the way through. So we'll start with unpicking the sash, then we'll probably look at unpicking all of these beads. To be honest, I think this top is just going to be 100% holly leaves. I can't see me really using any part of it just as is, except maybe the underlying skirt as something to attach my holly leaves to, and then I can just cut a slit for 1 leg. I'm not even sure if this is the right leg to go in the side. I actually am reasonably sure this dress, and actually the other one as well, has already been taken in the past, simply because the seam allowances are incredibly wide, and you guys probably can't see, but there's obviously been another line of stitching less deep in the past. But no, I like this dress as a dress if it were the correct size for me. So what we're going to do, start with unpicking tonight, and if we can get at least 1 dress unpicked by the time I go to bed, we're going to call that an achievement. And so we have the first of what I'm sure is going to be many time lapses. I started off unpicking the long seams that ran along the edges of both dresses so that I could take it apart into its individual pieces. Okay, you guys should be used to this by now. I'm not moving my camera to talk. So, what I've done, I've managed to remove the lining from the front. So this is the lining, it's going over here. I've also managed to take off 1 panel of the dress, which I didn't count the panels beforehand, so I don't know how many more I've got to do, but I'm going to do the rest of the panels, and then I'm going to do the beading because I'm going to save those beads to reuse either in this project or another one. And once this dress is unpicked, we will move on and unpick the next dress. I think this is going to take longer than I thought. I swear to God this happens like every video, but I didn't think this project was going to be a long one, and just unpicking the lining from the front and the 1 panel has taken me an hour. So, wish me luck. I'm going to carry on and we'll see how we go.
Next on the unpick list was the beads and the sequins. This actually went by fairly quickly, and I was pretty pleased that I found an old spice jar to keep them all in, because 1, it was aesthetic, 2, the green on the jar matched the green on the beads and the sequins, and 3, it hopefully means I'm actually not going to lose them this time.
Alright guys, we have got just the last bodice piece, the beads to unpick, and then that is going to be that dress done for today. We've ended up with quite a lot of pieces. I haven't unpicked the lining, mostly because I want to use it, but also because I'm not quite sure how I'm going to use it yet. This bodice piece here is really, really lovely. However, it doesn't fit me at all. It's not really worth keeping, and to be honest, the size of it, I'm not too sure what I can do. So I'm going to unpick all the beads because I don't want to use these beads for anything. And tomorrow, once I've had some sleep, because it's kind of 11 o'clock late at night, and I have stuff to do tomorrow, I will have a think and see if these bits are usable or if they will go in my scrap pile. And I'm saving up all the different colours of fabric that I use in various costumes to make a scrap epic basically next year, though I don't know exactly what I'm going to do yet. Any ideas? Please let me know in the comments down below. Otherwise, I'll get on with this and then go to bed, and I will see you guys in the morning.
The next afternoon I made a very good start on unpicking the second dress. This one seemed to go a hell of a lot quicker, or maybe that's just because I had practice. And of course there's always time to be interrupted by a cat, especially a cute ginger one like Sherlock.
Who's a good pretty cat? Are you a good pretty cat? I think you are. Is this where you sleep now? Is on where I work? Do you just exist to disrupt my projects? It's a very hard question to answer, isn't it? Okay, so it is day 2 of this project. I am unpicking the second dress. Sherlock decided he needed love and attention, and so I have temporarily paused this project to give him that, and he... Claws, dude. Claws. And he insists on nibbling me to show me that he loves me. Aim of today is to get this dress unpicked, and then that's both dresses unpicked, and we should be done. So I'm leaving the back intact. I'm going to use the front panels as a pattern to help draft a new front to the dress, and this is what the one we're going to make the bodice out of, because this dress actually fit me really, really well. So I've got one more side to unpick and then all the beading to take off, and we'll see how we go.
And so we have another time lapse. Fun fact, Christmas tree lights were invented or inspired in the 16th century when a guy called Martin Luther was so moved by the sight of the stars shining above the evergreens that he recreated the shimmering spectacle at home by adding small lit candles to the branches of a fir tree he personally cut down. He also probably made a lot of fires happen in a lot of homes, but we're not going to acknowledge that because Christmas tree lights are one of the best bits about the festive season.
Alrighty, so that is both the dresses, totally unpicked. This is all of the beads that I picked off of both dresses. It's just the jar's a bit glassy because I just tore the label off so you can actually see. The beads from the second dress are a lot more clear and silver. The beads from the first dress are a lot more green. I am going to make a promise, and we'll see if I keep it, which is that every one of these beads and sequins that came off of these dresses is going to go back on to the Tinkerbell dress, just in a slightly different way. I'm actually kind of disappointed. I was hoping to get a few more beads. There's some details on the dress that I'm not 100% sure how I'm going to do them just yet, but we'll wait and see, make a decision on that later. For now, that's both the dresses unpicked, and so I'm going to call it a night. Tomorrow we'll sit down, make a holly leaf pattern, and I think pattern up the bodice and maybe do a test run for that. Both the dresses have boning that has come out of them. I'm not convinced that any of the boning is really usable. It's just very short. It basically covers your boobs and not a lot else. But if I can use it, I will, so we'll see how we go.
Now the dresses were dismantled, I ironed the final pieces just to make sure they were all smooth, wrinkle-free, and ready for me to cut out holly leaves on.
Okay guys, I don't know what day it is of this project. To be honest, I've taken a few days off because sometimes days off are actually a really good thing. However, fabric is ironed, folded but ironed, so I'll probably need to give it a quick iron again before I use it. So I've managed to unpick the darts from where they were on the dress. I'm kind of 50-50 as to whether or not I do a mock-up. I'm also 50-50 as to whether or not I put boning in this dress. Like, on one hand, if it's a ball dress, it should have boning because that's what ball dresses have. On the other hand, am I feeling a little bit lazy right now? Yes. Is it also like 11 o'clock at night? Also, yes. Should I probably be going to sleep? Also, yes. Did I lie and tell my husband he drank the last Coca-Cola when he went away for 3 days? Yes. Do I secretly have another stash of it? Also, yes. The best bit about these cans is that they actually come with Santa Claus. Very, very happy about that. So I've got Coke to keep me up all night. I'm in the house home alone. Ooh, very daring of me. In all fairness, it's daring of them to trust me here. Gelly Bear, what are you doing on the ironing board? It's really funny. Ever since we got her, every time I put the ironing board up, it's where she sleeps. Don't ask me why, I don't know. I would ask her, but unfortunately I haven't been blessed with a magical talking kitten. In all fairness, if she could talk, she'd probably be giving me orders and demands, so I'm not too upset about this.
The next job was taping the holly leaf patterns together, a surprisingly hard job when you're running low on sleep.
Okay, so we have 3 sizes of holly leaf. So we've got our little holly leaf, which will probably go at the top of the skirt, our medium holly leaf, which will probably go in the middle of the skirt and maybe a little bit at the bottom, and our really big holly leaf, which I'm going to try and use to help pattern the bodice, and also to go at the bottom of the skirt and maybe 1 or 2 in the middle. To be honest, I kind of feel like I should, a minute, I'll show you. To be honest, I kind of feel like I should have had a holly leaf in between the medium and the big one. I actually think my medium one was supposed to be a bit bigger than this. However, I've basically used up all my print credit that I have at the moment, so we're going to stick with these patterns, and if I want to make it larger, I'll just sketch around the side. I did try and use a different holly leaf pattern for each of the holly leaves so that the 3 different sizes were also a bit unique in their own way. I'm hoping this worked out. I'm not 100% sure yet, but we'll see. For now though, I'm going to stick a bunch of pieces of paper together so that I can trace the bodice, and let's get on with that.
Unable to find anything else, I ended up using old newspaper, and Lily was a bit jealous of Sherlock getting all the camera attention, so she decided to join in on some of the filming too. I ended up with a really nice bodice pattern that I was fairly confident with, so I decided not to do a mock-up, which is something that I do not advise. So, pattern is now done. Yes. I've even sketched out where I want each individual holly leaf to be embroidered on the front of the dress, and this is how confident I am with the pattern. We are not going to cut it out in the final fabric. We are, however, going to cut it out in the lining fabric. So lining fabric from the original dress, I left the back of the dress intact, lining and front. Front of the dress would be nice to match the back of the dress. If it doesn't happen, it doesn't happen. Doesn't matter too much. Also running low on scrap fabric to make mock-ups. So lining, mock-up. Mock-up is good. It's going to be the lining in the actual dress, and we'll pretend that mock-up was just not needed because I'm just totally that awesome. That's pretty much it. I'm going to cut it out tonight. I don't think I'm going to sew it, mostly because I'm lazy and I want to go to sleep and maybe watch a movie or read a book. I don't even know what time in the morning it is, just in case my husband is watching this. This is why you don't leave me home alone. Then again, even when you are here with me, I normally stay up ridiculously late or early, depending on your perspective, doing things anyway. So I was just pinning the pattern onto the fabric, and I just had what I'm going to call an epiphany. Now I'm going to sleep on it before I make a final decision, because I think that's, you should always sleep on big decisions before you make them, kind of thing. But what I'm thinking is, rather than waste this lining fabric, or at least the skirt portion of the lining fabric, what I can actually do is leave the bodice as it is, because I know that the bodice is right, and just do the lining of the holly leaf in basically the outside fabric section. I'm guessing we'll probably have a scrap that would cover it. You just do an inside band around the top, which covers the extra holly pieces that I've done the rest, and I can just hand stitch it in. This also means that I can basically just put my boning channels right in. Anyway, I'm going to leave it pinned because I've done it now, and I'm going to come back in the morning and decide, but for right now I'm fairly set on not actually cutting out this pattern from the lining fabric, just using the bodice that we've already got and adding that extra bit of fabric at the top as needed, because at the end of the day no one but me is seeing the inside, which probably means it doesn't really matter that much. The one downside with me leaving all the pins in is that it means I have to hide it from the cats, because otherwise my cats come and they bite and they scatter pins all over the house, and then I basically get free acupuncture on my feet, except I don't like acupuncture and it's not fun. Sherlock, I kind of need that fabric. Can you move? Well, that'd be a no then. So I kicked Sherlock off the fabric, and this is where he's decided to sleep. And he's managed to drag some fabric with him. Once everything was cut out, it was time to get my old and trusty sewing machine out and stitch it all together. I then gave it a quick iron.
So here's the thing. When I unpicked the dresses, I had 4 pieces of boning and 2 boob cups. Now I also have 2 cats, which means I'm now down to 0 pieces of boning and 1 boob cup, which is really annoying because the boning I can probably do without, but the boob cups I actually kind of needed. I have searched the house, I can't find it, they hide things rather well. I'm not gonna put these in just yet, and I think I might leave the bottom of the bodice open, so on the off chance I do find these, I can insert them. So for now, I'm just going to pin the dress. I'm going to hand stitch the lining to the band along the top, and after that we'll see about attaching the front to the back, and then maybe trimming the back of the dress so that we can start cutting out our holly leaves. It's been 2 days. It's been 2 days since I lost the boob cup, and I finally found them. And it was really bad because literally this morning I gave up looking for the boob cup because the other one also went missing. And then I found everything that had gone missing, all the boning and stuff, in one place, and there was no boob cup. And then I found the other boob cup was missing, and I was really upset, and then I went to take the trash out, and it turns out my cats like to stash things in cardboard boxes because I found these and several other treasures. So I'm going to pin these to the lining of the dress, and we are going to sit down and hand stitch, and hopefully it will get done. Oh my god, I'm so happy! I can't tell you guys how happy I am. I'm trying to sit down to sew, Sherlock, and you're on my chair, taking up like 60 to 75% of it. Good kitten, now we get to share, isn't that better?
Once the boob cups were hand stitched into the lining, I hand stitched the lining into what I suppose we can now call a corset, be it without the boning.
Okay, so the front of the bodice is now fully stitched, and all that's left to do is attach it to the back, and that's going to be it for this video. So what I've done is I've pinned it, and I'm just having a check. I'm still a bit 50-50 as to whether or not I add boning to it, but I don't have to make the final decision for that quite yet, so I'm not too fussed. At the moment it's just about getting a good fit. One thing I have noticed is that my little points of the boob tend to be a bit saggy. When I say points, I don't mean these bits, I mean these bits right here. So I think I'm going to put some iron-on interfacing into the lining for that, just to help hold them up a little bit. And the thing for next time is going to be a hell of a lot of decorative stitching. It's going to be really fun. I'm actually looking forward to it, but I did realise that like 90% of it is going to have to be done by hand for the top, because obviously the top already has the lining to it. But in order to make sure that I was going to stitch the correct shape, I wanted to make sure the top was all done, put it on, and I'm literally going to draw on the holly leaf pattern that I would like. So probably coming around here, like I'm wearing a big holly leaf around the front, and then the back, we're just going to pretend that the holly leaf goes all the way around and the lacing isn't really a thing. So if you guys can hear noises, it's because my 3D printer's on, and I'm sorry, but I want to give you a quick update, which is that I've sewn the bodice front and back together, and I was just hand stitching in the lining because I was really struggling just lining up, and it seemed easier to hand stitch, which is ironic because hand stitching takes so much more time and is so much longer than machine stitching. And I started hand stitching, and I tried the bodice on to make sure that I didn't do the lining too tight so that the front of it was really, really baggy. And the thing is, I've had to think about it, and I just don't like the fit of the bodice. Now, I don't have to unpick the entire thing, that's the good news, but I am going to unpick both the side seams and all the hand stitching I've already done in hopes of a better finished product. Because the thing is, I feel like if I don't do this, I'm just not going to be happy with the end result, or worse, I'm going to end up having to go back and do it later. So, we're going to unpick everything, and then we're going to have another go at sewing it together. The reason that I noticed that the fit of the bodice wasn't very good is, like I said before, I'm using the lining from the original dress. I haven't unpicked the pleats, whatever, and it's still got the stitch marks from how it was done. Now, the bodice was taken in by, I'm guessing, a mum of some daughter who wore this to prom, and those stitch marks are very different to the stitch marks that I have already done. Not only that, but when I put it on, the lining and the front bit just didn't really go together, and as I'm still 50-50 on whether or not to put boning in, that's just something I can't have, so we're going to unpick it all. Luckily I have a lot of good YouTube videos to watch right now, but we're going to unpick it all. Here we go, we keep going. I'm sorry this video is getting so long, guys. My apologies, sincerely. Hopefully the other videos will get a bit more done a bit more quickly. But, right, here's to another time lapse.
I cannot tell you guys how pleased I am that I made this decision. You'll see it when I'm done, but honestly, it made all the difference.
It's a really good thing I decided to try this dress on before I stitched it all together, because I just realised I pinned them the wrong way round, as in the front of the back is facing the back of the front. So not even wrong sides together, not even right sides together, like both pieces of fabric are facing that way. I mean, on one hand, this actually made it really easy to try on and I'm super happy with the fit now. On the other hand, I now have to repin the entire damn thing. So I'm gonna do that, and I'm not gonna bother filming it because you know what? My memory card's getting really full and I can't be bothered to do an upload to my computer where I organize all my different videos into files and photos and that tonight. And tonight, before I go to bed, the front and the back will be attached. I promise you that. Let's see if I can keep that promise. Well guys, I really hope you enjoyed that video watching me make this beauty. As a start of a cosplay, I think it's quite good, especially when you consider that I did not do a mock-up. It still needs a lot of work. We need to add a lot of details for all the veins of the leaves, the various other bits and pieces. I have started pinning the skirt, however, next video we are going to be working on the bodice and finishing all that up before we can move on to the skirt in the video after, and I'm really excited because I've just managed to go to the shops and I found iridescent cellophane. So I brought 2 tubes of this and we're going to use this to make Tinkerbell's fairy wings, which, got to be honest guys, was not part of my initial plan. However, I'm very excited as I've never made fairy wings before and I cannot wait to give it a try. So if you don't want to miss any of that, remember to hit that subscribe button, and if you enjoyed this video, please help me spread the Christmas cheer by tapping that like button on your way out as well. Otherwise guys, at the end of this video, my 12 Days of Cosplay Christmas playlist is going to pop up, and please click on it if you want to carry on getting into the festive spirit with some lovely cosplay videos. I really appreciate you guys watching. Thank you so much for sticking with me through this video. I know it wasn't one of my best or most productive, however I promise the next few will be a lot better. The final Tinkerbell cosplay reveal is going to be on Christmas Eve, so even if you do miss the other videos, please remember to check back the night before Christmas and have a look at what it looks like when it's finished. I am so excited and cannot wait to see it finished myself, so this is going to be quite good. Otherwise guys, I will see you on our next episode of 12 Days of Cosplay Christmas, and until then, have a merry festive season and I will see you next time. Bye!